everybody? It is Monday, February 27th, 2023. This is your daily sports betting brand of record. We call it the Early Edge. We're powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all sports betting, and it is not close. Now, if you are a regular viewer, then you know this is the end of our week. And I want to end our week in a positive fashion, just like yesterday. A solid day here at the brand. Take my pick out of it. It was horrible. They went over 250 yesterday. However, when you cash Chris Kirk to win, when you have a Chris Kirk ticket at 23-1, I got so many tweets this morning about the counselor, first round leader. We also cashed the end round winner, whatever you want to call it. It was a good day. And my man is also good with the XFL. Busy day at the brand. And you know, on a Monday, I've got the absolute stars of the show. But we want to know how good you are. Now, Conference Championship Week starts tomorrow, but we're ready for March Madness, and we want you to be ready too. Do you want to play with us? Do you want to play against us? Oh, it's time for brackets. Look at the QR code. You can download that or go to tinyurl.com/theearlyedge to lock in your spot. I'm already registered. I don't think any of you can beat me, let alone any of my amazing cappers. Prove us wrong. Come play with us. Now, with all that being said, you know I love this more than anything, bringing the stars of the show, because first and foremost, you got to introduce him first, because the man has single-handedly, even if you lost every other bet this weekend, you still had a profit because of the counselor. Mr. Sia Nejad, good morning, sir.
Great morning, in fact. We hit the first round leader. We hit our one viable tournament matchup. We hit 2 out of 3 of our in-tournament matchups. Listen, when you're cashing 30-1s and 60-1s, and I do want to just make sure the record is clear. Yesterday, the matchup, I actually lost the Eric Cole versus Chris Kirk matchup, but I did win the outright. So, and of course, we won that XFL bet too, 2 for 2 in the XFL this weekend. It's been a great week. Honestly, it's been a great run for the early wedge and the early edge. So I'm really excited to kick this week off. I'm glad I'm here on a Monday, and I have what I think is a great pick in college basketball today.
Oh, we'll get to that. Liddy Sims says, I love Sia. Well, guess what? So do we. Now, up next, it's always nice when you cash a ticket right out of the gate in the morning, and that's what this man has been doing. He's part of the triumvirate with the guru and the silent assassin, Brant Sutton. Buckets, good morning, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's having a fantastic start to their week. Sia, you and I have a little bit of a problem here. I got a call from my bank yesterday asking why I was sending $100 to this mysterious Venmo account every single week. They thought something fishy was going on there, so we might have to pull back on the showdowns, but a great week nonetheless.
Wow. Sia's going to have to talk to the missus and tell her, oh, we got a budget now because no more Buckets money is going to be coming in.
Yeah, this is unfortunate news coming from Buckets.
Really, that's going to be a difficult conversation for you and the wife, but I'm sure you will handle it. Now, this man, as we change the show and evolve the show, I can't wait to hear his analysis. He's been here since day freaking one. He is the maestro, Larry Hartstein. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys. I don't think I've ever been on with this particular lineup, so I'm very excited. And Sia, congrats on all those hits over the weekend. I do want to mention that we're always trying to improve the site. And if you follow the website, you will see Phil Bobbitt and Steve Greco. These are 2 new auto racing experts. They hit Kyle Busch at plus 1,100. They were up over 5.5 units just on the race at Fontana yesterday. So check out their content at SportsLine.
Yeah, we say it all the time. There's so much more to SportsLine than just the early edge. We're always, as Meister said, looking to get better and supply every sport for you at home. And we're also doing that here on the show. In just a couple of minutes, I'll explain a new segment that we need your help naming. But this segment never changes because we talk about it all the time. Educate and entertain. Knowledge is power. Storylines that could affect the betting lines. And Sia, I'm going to you because we are now 13 days away, I believe, from Selection Sunday. I am fired up. Start us off.
Yeah, I'm really fired up for March Madness, as everybody should be, frankly. And I think we're starting to see March Madness really as of a couple of days ago when we saw some buzzer beaters, when we saw some teams that we didn't think were going to win, ended up churning out wins. I think the desperation part of this season really started last weekend, and we're going to start to see that with some of the conference tournaments starting this week, some starting next week. It truly is March Madness season, and that was really punctuated by a couple of last-second shots a couple of days ago. So I'm really interested, from a betting standpoint, really interested in how the next couple of weeks play out, because I think we're going to see a different energy, a different type of determination from some of these teams.
No, I don't doubt that at all. And by the way, excuse me, the greatest part of the weekend when you talk about the buzzer beaters was the Arizona State buzzer beater from 60 feet, because EC is a diehard Arizona fan, and that just crushed him, and I'm here for that. Now, let's stay with college basketball, because Maestro, as I look at my list of games today, I realize that championship week is here, and now you're up.
Yeah, conference tournaments start today with some of the smaller conferences, and I'm going to give out a futures play on a tournament that starts tomorrow, talking about the Horizon League in Youngstown State. You know the last time the Penguins went to the NCAA tournament? Never. It's been over 40 years that they've been in Division I. They just won their first regular season title. They've been building towards this. They start 5 seniors, including a guy named Dwayne Cohill, transferred from Dayton, averaging 18 a game. 4 guys average at least 13 points a game. Very efficient offense. Number 32 in the nation in offensive efficiency. They've hit 90.7 times or 8 times this season. And I just like their bracket, the way it sets up. They're going to host a game on Thursday, probably against Detroit and the leading scorer in the nation, Antoine Smith, but they already swept the Titans. I just love the story in Youngstown State. Now, this is different at various books, plus 150 at FanDuel, but at Caesars, plus 190. That's the best price I can see. I am on that plus 190. Take the Penguins to win the Horizon.
Oh, Maestro, you're giving me some PTSD. Do you know my history with Youngstown State?
Refresh me.
All right. Years ago, Sunday afternoon, it was Super Bowl Sunday. We had a wrestling show when I was in the WWE. At the end of the show, it was me getting frog splashed by RVD. A guy used to go like, RVD, Rob Van Dam. Yeah, he missed and landed on my face. One of 2 concussions I had that I know of in my career, and it happened in the gym at Youngstown State. Then I had to drive to Penn State for Monday Night Raw by myself with a concussion, and I felt like buckets when he is challenging Sia for a showdown. I had no idea what I was doing. No idea what I was doing. All right, now, speaking of buckets, we've had to kind of evolve buckets since the World Cup because teams are coming out slow or we still got guys injured. But now we're kind of tapping into the anytime goal scorer market, which can be different all around. Explain.
Yeah, when you're having trouble finding consistency like we are right now, where you have teams like Barcelona losing, Inter Milan losing, Real Madrid dropping points, sometimes you have to shift how you bet and look into the player prop market. The anytime goal scorer market, or the ATGS market, is phenomenal value if you take the time to shop around. The books are all over the place with every single player they have in these markets. Looking at Ciro Immobile, for example, he's sitting at plus 105 on some books, all the way to minus 175 on other major books. If you're going to bet a player prop, you need to shop around in these markets because the value is there. We just have to find it. So I'll always help out to find that value, but just make sure you're checking your books here.
And follow my main man on social media. There's nobody more active than Buckets on social media to try to educate you and entertain as well. All right. Now, we've got a brand new feature that we're going to start every single day on the show. But before I do that, we got to pay these men. So we got to pay those pesky little bills. Here's a word from one of our incredible partners.
Never seen nothing like this before. Never seen nothing like this. It don't matter where you're from. Come on, come on, come on. 3, 2, 1, let's go. You can feel the madness. Never seen nothing like this before. Never seen nothing like this.
Oh, I love that. Now, we need your help in the chat. We can always rely on you. So we were brainstorming over the course of the last week. How can we make the show better? How can we make it more informative? How can we make it smarter? Well, we realized over the last couple of years that there's a lot of big games and certain games that a lot of the public, you watching right now, tap into every single day. So we want to break it down for you just a little bit more. So $100, cold, hard cash to whoever can name this segment. All right? And you guys know, we'll pick it, we'll send it, no strings attached, and you can play the $100 on any game you want. So this is a featured segment on big games of the day. That is your homework at home. Now, the homework for these gentlemen is to discuss it. So let's start in college basketball tonight. And Maestro, I'm starting with you because M-squared simulations have Baylor and Oklahoma State minus 1.8 for Baylor, and the line is 1.5. And the total 141.5, it sits now at 142. So his simulations are very close to the actual numbers. Baylor, if they want a really, really high seed, they need to play better. Start us off.
Yeah, two teams coming in with totally different mindsets. Baylor was down 18-4 to Texas. They lost their best player, Keontae George. And what do? They come back. Senior Dale Bonner comes off the bench, scores 13 points, and they beat Texas by 9. So they're coming in off a high. Oklahoma State, 4 straight losses. They were solidly in the tournament. Now, not so much. So this is a home game. This is basically a last stand for Oklahoma State. But you have to be disturbed by the way they finished that game against Kansas State. They had a sizable lead. They were in the bonus, and instead of driving and getting to the foul line, they settled for a bunch of threes, and they end up losing by 5 at home to Kansas State. So that they're in a downturn, 4 straight losses where their defense, which was their strong point, has really fallen apart.
Yeah, and see, in the Big 12, much like a lot of other conferences, we're seeing different performances from teams at home and away. But right now, it can't matter because these teams need to win tonight.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where we're starting to see, or we have seen a lot of these home dogs or these home unranked teams against ranked teams really kind of perform. And in a featured spot like this, I do see Oklahoma State potentially pulling this one out. I think Baylor certainly has the talent edge. And we know, just like Larry said, Oklahoma State coming in just real soft, the manner in which they were playing. But, if I don't have a pick on this game in particular, but I think this is going to be a really gritty, really intense matchup. And it wouldn't shock me at all if Oklahoma State ends up stealing this one.
No, I would. If you make, I know you're not going to make that a pick, but I am all over the Baylor Bears. After watching them play, just a lack of focus a couple of games ago, I think they're going to be locked and loaded tonight. It's a big Monday game. It's a 9 Eastern game. I think Baylor gets it done. I wouldn't even mind the money line. It's probably minus 130, minus 140, I'm guessing. But I like Baylor tonight. Big time. Anybody else want a showdown? I'm here for it. Now, in the NBA, there's a big one tonight. And last night, how about those performances? Damian Lillard, 71 points last night. Jokic, we told you right here on the show. Mikey B says, I'm betting Jokic to have a triple-double in home games every game the rest of the year. What did Jokic do last night? Triple-double in overtime. It was an unbelievable game against the Clippers. Unbelievable if you stay up and watched it on ESPN. But tonight, the Knicks, who've been playing better, are hosting the Boston Celtics, who are the favorites in the East right now because Giannis is sitting out. The number is 3. The total is 223. That's what we have locked in on. Maestro, let's start with you. Knicks, can we believe in them?
I believe in them, especially the way they've played since a key lineup change that Tom Thibodeau did when he basically said, Derrick Rose and Cam Reddish, you're not playing anymore. I'm just going to go with 9 guys. And Emmanuel quickly has seized that opportunity, averaging 14.5 points coming off the bench. The Knicks are 39-25 since that move. They've beaten the Celtics. They've split with them. They've beaten the Cavs twice. They've beaten the Suns. They've beaten the Kings. So they've had a lot of marquee wins in that time. The Garden is going to be rocking tonight. Jaylen Brown is out for personal reasons. That's why we've seen this total come down a few points, and we've seen the line, from 2.5 to 3 down to only 2. I would look at the Knicks here. I'm not on it yet, but I think that place is going to be rocking.
And one player that when Jaylen Brown has been missing, Maestro, that's been stepping up big time, I've been cashing his props privately, Derek White. He's been scoring 20+ every time Jaylen Brown is out. He's got confidence just coming out of his ears. And see, as I come to you, Celtics 11-6-1 as a road favorite. They have split the season series with the Knicks so far 1-1. Your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, so I don't believe in the Knicks as much as Larry, but I will say this. I believe in them tonight. I really think this is a great spot for them. First of all, they're playing well, so that's great. But I think the Celtics really coming off a really, I would characterize it as maybe an emotional win, a really big win, a gutty win against the Sixers. We remember that basically full court shot that didn't count from Joel Embiid. But I think you're catching the Celtics maybe in a down spot coming off that win. And again, the Knicks playing well. They're at MSG. I think both games are going to be primed for this because it's at MSG. But at the same time, I think the Knicks are in a really good spot with the Celtics coming off that emotional win, but also not having Jaylen Brown. I like the Knicks here.
Every time I hear MSG, it goes back to just 2 of the best years of my career. I worked at Madison Square Garden Network. At the end of my WWE days, I was working both. I got to see LeBron score 50 at the Garden. I got to see Kobe score 61 at the Garden. there is nothing like games at the Garden. If you guys ever get a chance and you go to New York City, I know it's expensive, but make it a point to go to those games. Some really good suggestions in the chat so far. Big Game Monday from Harry. Well, this is going to be a daily segment, so we can't use that, but good suggestion. And then Quicksand said the big one tonight. Well, we just talked about 2 games, so we can't use the big one, but you guys are on the right track. All right? You're on the right track. I like that feature segment. I like it. It will evolve. It will get better. All right. Now, it's time to get to our board for the day. And on the pitch, Monday can be a light day, but it can be a profitable day. So, Buckets, my man, I made you sit there for a while, and I hate that. I hate that. All right. Start us off. What do you got?
Yeah, understandably, I don't contribute a lot to the NBA segment. However, I will always be here to help us on the pitch. And we have 2 surprisingly good matchups here in Serie A. Not the best teams on earth, but some good value to be found here. The first match, I'm looking at a matchup between Hellas Verona and Fiorentina this afternoon, and I'm doing the exact same bet that we cashed a month ago on this Hellas Verona team. We're taking Hellas Verona to score in the first half, currently at plus 155 here. We talked about this before last time. Hellas Verona is a super goofy team because they play very aggressive for 45 minutes and then essentially just give up. They have scored 78% of their goals this season in the first 45 minutes of gameplay. Meanwhile, Fiorentina, who is the better team, has conceded now in the first half in 7 of their domestic games straight. I'm taking this at plus 155. I would take it all the way down to even money here. This is value for a Hellas Verona squad at home that loves to score early. Then for our second pick, I'm looking at the matchup this afternoon between Lazio and Sampdoria. And this one ties in a little bit here, synergy with our storyline. Synergy. I'm looking at that matchup between Lazio and Sampdoria. We're taking Ciro Immobile anytime goal scorer here at plus 105. And this is one of those cases where you need to shop around because I don't want people tweeting me saying, hey, this is minus 200. The lines are crazy for this. Find the value on the right books here because you can still get it at plus odds as of this morning. Ciro Immobile has scored the last 3 goals for Lazio. He is their penalty kick taker. He was the top goal scorer in Serie A last year, and he's been injured for 4 or 5 games this year and is still one of the top 3 goal scorers in Serie A. On top of this, Sampdoria concedes more penalties than any other team in Italy. And if there's going to be a penalty, it's going to be Ciro at the spot. For plus value, again, we have to take this.
Yes, you do. I love those. And by the way, in the chat, live 2 places, I love these picks. Absolutely love them. All right. A lot of good ideas coming through for the segment, too. Keep them coming. Primetime Spotlight. It's time for the Primetime Spotlight. That has a nice ring to it. All right, by the way, added bonus this morning. M Squared, Mike, in the chat. Any questions for him? He'll answer them in real time. If you're watching on demand, too bad for you. Hashtag it pays to watch live. Now, we've had buckets. Now, we have one play from SportsLine today, and it's college basketball. And there's a team that's been cashing a lot that you don't know about because it happens out here on the West Coast. They're not a big team. They're not a big name, but they do play good basketball. And I'm talking about Eastern Washington, minus 2.5 or minus 2.5. Yeah, it just came down to 2.5 over Montana State. Our simulations at SportsLine have Eastern Washington winning by 11, 79-68. So at minus 2.5, getting tons of that word we hate so much, value. And if you're not a SportsLine member yet, there has never been a better time to join us right now. We're growing in leaps and bounds. But for you, use a promo code early. I'll give you 30 days for free. You can try out my cappers, all the articles, all the simulations, everything for this many dollars. Then after that, 10. That's it. Best value, not close. Now, we've done the site play. We've done buckets. And we know who does the last spot. So, Counselor, can you keep this hot run going? I believe you can. You're up.
I believe I can too, and we're going to do it with the North Carolina Tar Heels. Now, this line, it started out at -8. It went down to -7 yesterday. Now it's back up to 7.5 or 8. Wherever you get it, I like it. UNC -8, -7.5. Listen, UNC's in a tough spot, right? They were the preseason number 1. They were really out of the tournament. They're still probably out of the tournament. They had a nice win against UVA. They're going to have to beat FSU tonight. And then in 5 days, they're going to have to turn around and take care of Duke. And even then, they're probably in at that point, but maybe not. They're certainly going to have to win maybe one or two of their ACC tournament games. So again, if we're going to go the synergy route, right, we're talking about desperate teams that need to win. The cool thing about UNC is they're a desperate team that's talented and is starting to flash some of their talent as of late. If you watch them against UVA, super active defensively. Their set plays were really good. So Hubert Davis's influence, I think, is really impacting them. And then again, they're going against FSU. Nice comeback against Miami. But let's not forget, that was a big letdown for Miami. They were up 25. So you want to take the FSU team that was down 25 or the FSU team that made that amazing comeback? The reality is FSU has less than 10 wins on the season. Not in the ACC, on the season. They're a 9-win team. And I think, speaking of letdown spots, I think this is a big-time letdown spot after what is probably the equivalent of their Super Bowl with that comeback against the Hurricanes. So I really like North Carolina in this spot. They are focused. They're playing better. They're playing more aggressive. And they need to win to make the tournament. FSU, on the other hand, they're not making the tournament. They just had their best effort, and they're probably cashing in their chips mentally at this point. So give me UNC -7.5 at FSU.
What would you think about the total sitting at 151? Both of these teams play fast. Both like to score. Is that too high for you?
It's a little too high for me because what I saw, especially against UVA, now UVA is a different type of team because they don't score a lot anyway, but I really thought UNC was super active on the defensive end. Now, you're right. The pace is going to be high for UNC, but I could see stretches where FSU goes scoreless for 3-4 minutes potentially. So again, Nance, RJ Davis, Caleb Love, like all of these guys were really good defensively. And I just think FSU is going to probably meet their match, take some bad shots, and maybe not score like the total is indicating.
And North Carolina does not want to make history this year. There has never been a team, preseason number 1, not make the tournament. They are in trouble. They are in trouble. They have to win tonight and look impressive doing it. My man Jairi in the chat says, I played all of these picks this morning. You're welcome, Jairi. You're welcome. Now, I had no idea when I said I loved Baylor a few minutes ago that I would have one of the absolute OGs on my side. Maestro, it's your spot. You're up.
Okay, and Coach, I'm not going to be on the show for about a week, so I got to make this strong, and I got to keep posting all my plays on SportsLine, which of course I will, so please follow me there. But yeah, I'm with the Bears. They've won 7 straight visits to Stillwater. I know there's no Keontae George. The Cowboys do not let you score inside. They have a very good interior defense, but what does Baylor do? LJ Cryer, 43% from deep. Adam Flagler, 40% from deep. Freshman Langston Love, 37% from deep. They still have enough weapons. I like the coaching edge. I'll take the Baylor Bears. I'll lay the small number. And this is down to 1 at certain books. So shop around. And then out late, I'm going to take Nevada. They are just so good, so unselfish, so sound defensively, taking on the worst team in the Mountain West. That is Wyoming. Wyoming's got 2 good scorers in Hunter Maldonado, Noah Reynolds, but I think Nevada's defense will be the story. And there's an interesting angle with the Wolfpack. They had a guard, Hunter McIntosh. He was supposed to be the starting point guard, got hurt before the season, preseason knee surgery. Everyone thought, okay, he'll just sit out the whole season and have 2 years left of eligibility. He said, no, I'm coming back for this stretch run. He came back 2 games ago. And then when they went to Fresno State and covered for me on Friday night, thank you very much, he hit 2 key 3-pointers down the stretch. This is a starting caliber guy who's coming off the bench to play about 15 minutes a game that they just got this jolt from late in the season. And I just think Wyoming, not a great team, and they're going to be frustrated by this Nevada defense.
No, I agree with you. Our simulations, by the way, have it at 141 if you're into the total market, which the over is set at 138 right now, if you care to look at that. I like this new show, added segments. And just like I tell my crew every single day, if you have something you would like us to do, this is the time to do it. Because we got 6 months before the NFL comes back. Let's try some stuff. Let's see what happens. All right? Send them in. You guys know we'll do it. With all that being said, grab your paper, grab your pencil. Here is the recap, and we have more best bets today. Early edge in 5 at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Sia Nejad, the counselor. He's on North Carolina -7.5. Then the Maestro, 2 plays from college basketball tonight. Baylor, -1.5. That's at 9 p.m. And in Nevada, also late game tonight, -5.5. Buckets. These are afternoon games. Verona, first half, team total over a half goal. All we got to do is score at +155. And the 0 in Mobile. And I believe Buckets completely mispronounced that name. But regardless, they don't care at the pay window how you say the name. just that it catches at plus 105. And then Eastern Washington -2.5, also a late game. So a late show tonight for if you want to stay up. Don't worry about it. I'll tweet for you. I'm out here on the West Coast. I get to watch these games at like 6 o'clock, not 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. I like living out here. I'm not close to buckets. Oh, can't be close to buckets. He would show up. He literally would show up at my house every day, I think, just to hang out with the kids or hang out with Crystal, whatever. She thinks buckets walks on water. I can't figure it out. All right. Good first show of the rest of the year. But with all that being said, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, love them all. Maestro, the counselor, Buckets, and of course the snake on the ones and the twos. I am the coach. Tell all your friends we're always trying to get better. You want to be included, not talked down to, be a part of the family? We grind for you so we can win with you. Only one place, the early edge. Good luck.